Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, Tasmania's travel voucher program has been hit with more hurdles, with concerns some are being traded off and others haven't been received. While the system is aimed at getting Tasmanians out and about, there's division on whether it benefits struggling businesses.
These are just some of Tasmania's tantalising tourism spots, all very popular and all face the battle of luring local visitors in.
Recently we have had a lot of overseas tourists that come in. We're really looking forward to having the locals come back in.
Typically the local in the Tasmanian market makes up only about 10% of our total visitation.
Yesterday, $7.5 million of travel vouchers snapped up in less than 40 minutes.
Well, I think the principle was terrific. Nobody can deny that.
But many missed out, and for ventures such as Bristow Estate, the vouchers don't apply during its peak season.
Possibly opening up the access to be able to register and maybe rethinking its delivery.
Yeah, I think another program is something that we should certainly consider.
It will be very interesting after this week, from this weekend onwards, to see how many people actually do come and actually use them.
Pennicott Cruises riding the wave, launching its own initiative.
And there were some people a bit not happy that they missed out. We thought we'd take advantage of the situation, and so we put $1 million of vouchers on the table, and hopefully that equates to 20,000 bottoms on seats.
The Premier firm against the vouchers being used the wrong way.
Don't get caught, don't get sucked in by somebody saying that you can purchase this off another individual. That just won't work. They are not tradable. They are not saleable.
Also hosing down concerns from people who still hadn't received theirs, saying they should be on their way soon.
And then people can go about, book their holidays, spend their money.
Spending money in a state hoping to once again thrive on the tourist dollar. Louise Hobart, 7 Tasmania News.
As the global pandemic continues to take its toll, more Tasmanians are reaching out for support. Mates for Mates says it has seen a 20% rise in veterans seeking help. It's encouraging others to do the same.
Trauma and identity loss are two things that weigh on many of our state's veterans, with the pandemic only adding to the mental health toll.
Whilst people are within the military, they have a very strong sense of identity and community, and then when they leave, that sense of community is lost sometimes, or that sense of identity is lost.
Mates for Mates has seen demand for psychology appointments jump by 21% this year, with the state government supporting the organisation.
They provide an excellent service to our veterans, our younger veterans in particular. Mental health and wellbeing is a top priority, and it's absolutely been on an increase during this very difficult time.
Mental health services across the state want Tasmanians to know they're not alone.
They are struggling with job loss, financial distress. It's causing pressure on relationships. About 10% of the calls we get have an aspect of family violence around them.
Lifeline is encouraging people to walk at sunrise on Thursday in support of World Suicide Prevention Day.
Out of the Shadows is a very private event for our communities. They walk to honour someone who they've lost to suicide. They walk to help as a community for us to stand together to reduce stigma.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
And if you or someone you know needs help, Lifeline is there. Call 13 11 14. After a turbulent year for students, new UTAS research has been released which may boost literacy skills and assist teachers back in the classroom. The 3-year curriculum review looked at practices at 28 Tasmanian schools from kindergarten to year 10, now hoping to help those struggling after a disruptive 2 terms.
Schools and teachers across all sectors, government, Catholic, independent schools, have really kept an eye out to make sure that they support those kids who might have fallen behind a little bit with their literacy, give them the extra help they need.
The 5 reports released on what is International Literacy Day. Tasmania's Premier has opened up, airing concerns over voluntary assisted dying legislation, saying it would put patients and staff at significant risk. The feedback was welcomed by the MP behind the bill, but those opposed have once again called for it to be scrapped.
Staying firm on a divisive proposal to allow voluntary assisted dying in Tasmania.
We've put as many safeguards. We want this bill to be good. It will be, and I think that the people of Tasmania are ready to have the right to choose.
Just 1 week out from the bill returning to Parliament, the Premier has showed his hand on the divisive issue, delivering a 4-page analysis detailing concerns over significant risks to patients and staff and its implementation timeframe.
I provided my party members with a conscience vote and obviously requested advice from government departments in terms of the mechanics of the implementation of the bill, not the policy of the bill.
There's some work to be done, but it's a huge bill. It's a very important topic, so I'm quite pleased I've had that feedback from the government. I appreciate Peter's involvement.
Leading to those opposed calling for a full inquiry into the legislation.
It needs to look at the broad area of end-of-life decision-making, so looking at palliative care, looking at advanced care directives, looking at what might be causing some people to have bad deaths.
But ultimately, they want the bill to be ditched entirely.
There's serious risks for patients and for medical professionals involved. It's highlighted some serious issues with determining decision-making capacity and the potential for incorrect diagnosis.
Voluntary assisted dying has overwhelming community support, and the framework that we have at the moment does not provide that relief to people whose suffering is irrelievable.
The legislation will be debated in Parliament next week. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
The developers behind a proposed hospitality school at Kangaroo Bay have asked Clarence Council for a 2-year extension on the controversial project. The company behind the $80 million development says progress has slowed due to COVID-19, but it's still pushing forward with plans for the 5-star hotel and management college. The council will make the decision on whether to grant the extension or buy back the land at a public meeting next month.
They are committed, they've demonstrated commitment, and the only hold up is having an education provider that can deliver the tertiary level education required.
A publicly available report will be prepared before the meeting. State-of-the-art marine technology has provided a new look into the devastating impacts of urchin barrens on Tasmania's ocean floor. A new IMAS study used sonar mapping and an autonomous underwater vehicle to monitor changes at sites around Bicheno. Researchers found the invasive species have been increasing in density, more than doubling in 5 years. Experts will use the technology to more accurately predict where the harmful barrens will form in the future. As electric cars become more popular in Tasmania, a new charging station has been unveiled in Hobart. The facility can fully charge a car in just half an hour, rolled out as part of a statewide network to better support growing demand. The program, paid for by the Charge Smart Grants initiative, which aims to improve infrastructure for electric vehicle technology.
We are in that transition where we do need people to have confidence that there's somewhere they can charge their car, and that's why this sort of infrastructure is so important.
13 more stations are set to light up around Tasmania in the coming months. Tas Racing will consider joining Racing Victoria's push to ban the whip in horse racing when state bodies meet in November. Racing Victoria is proposing jockeys be limited to striking the whip between 5 and 8 times across an entire race. Current rules allow jockeys to whip as much as they want in the final 100 metres of a race, but only 5 times up until that point. The proposal plans to gradually wind back the use of the whip until it is eventually banned. Racing New South Wales has slammed the move, describing it as grandstanding. A Tasmanian school is encouraging students to try new and healthy food while teaching parents how to prepare an inexpensive meal. The Love in a Lunchbox program was designed to provide students with hot food and cooking tips, but it's also producing life-changing results.
Cooking up inspiration in the kitchen. For most parents, it's a struggle for ideas when it comes to preparing school lunches. But the Love in a Lunchbox program aims to change that while providing children with a nutritious meal.
We've got some classics, the spaghetti bolognese, pizza scrolls, macaroni cheese, cottage pie, soups.
And while it's no surprise children still love sweet treats, it's certainly changed their palates.
Apples and oranges. Bananas, donuts, chocolate and spaghetti bolognese and noodles.
The program, now in its 5th year here at Clarendon Vale Primary School, educating parents on how to prepare inexpensive and healthy lunchbox options. And it's having a significant impact on student behaviour, even improving attendance rates along the way.
We would find that most of our children would have a really good core lunchbox. They would have a sandwich and a piece of fruit, but then on top of that would be lots and lots of packets. And that's what we're trying to address.
For the first time this year, parents have also been given cooking lessons, preparing hot lunches for 120 students over the course of a month.
Cooking all different meals, going home and cooking it for the family as well. Like we have a large household, so it's nice to learn how to cook other stuff.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Tomorrow night's TSL action is under lights with North Hobart taking on Kingborough. It'll be a special night for D's defender Hugh Williams, who plays his 200th senior game. After debuting for Scottsdale and playing 30 games with the Pies, Hugh Williams will play game number 170 for North Hobart tomorrow night.
It's credit to himself the way he prepares every week, the amount of work. He's a manic trainer as well, so he leaves no stone unturned.
Williams is already the proud club's second longest serving captain. He'll lead a D side under lights with a clear focus on the Tigers midfield of Kieran Lovell, Mackenzie Willis and Will Campbell.
I'm sure there'll be a fair bit of attention going to all of them at some stage.
Lockie Godomski returns for the Tigers, a welcome in for a side in need of a boost.
He can play tall or small. He either does a job or he gives us good rebound off the back half, and Jack Bilson will come back in as well.
The lingering State League issue remains its viability, with Richard Robertson wanting answers.
I'd love to see another team in the North West Coast come back in, just so you get those younger guys get the opportunity to play State League level from an early age. So I just hope AFL Tas come out very, very soon and confirm that the competition is going to be here to stay.
While in hockey's Premier League, North West Grads is set to stay in top spot after downing second place Derwent 2-1. Grads plan to take an injury-free side deep into finals and are nearly certain to lock in the minor premiership. But they're up against OHA, the only side to have beaten Grads this season.
They've got a really strong core down the spine and they cover really well, so it's really hard to score goals against them.
We got up 3-2, I think, so that was probably one of our best games of the season. So yeah, we'll take that confidence into this game on the weekend.
And after breezing past Diamondbacks, University now comes up against a bogey side of its own, Derwent.
The last 2 times we played Derwent have arguably been 2 of our worst games all season, so I think to take anything from that as a predictor going forward is just irrelevant.
Good evening. A warm start today ahead of a blustery change as a front pushed over the state. Hobart 20, the northern centre's 18 degrees. Most maximums were reached this morning ahead of the front. 23 the warmest on Flinders Island. St Helens and Friendly Beaches 20 degrees. Grove 19, Wynyard and Bushy Park 18, King Island 16, Low Head and Strawn 15. Now here we can see the cloud band associated with the cold front crossing the state. The brisk nor'westerlies turning southwesterly as it moved over. That same system is touching Victoria and South Australia. The coastal rim of Queensland has some cover due to a moist onshore flow. Tomorrow a high builds to our west as the next front approaches Western Australia. The winds continuing south to southwesterly up to around 15 to 25 knots, even 30 knots at first over the southeast. They will ease as the day progresses. A strong wind warning has been issued for waters between Wineglass Bay and Tasman Island. 15 for Hobart and partly cloudy tomorrow, same for Geefton, but 14 degrees the top and 13 for Bothwell. Launceston a high of 17 degrees, morning fog and frost, mostly sunny for Devonport and 16, 15 for Cressy. Burnie can expect 16 degrees and mostly sunny. A light morning shower clearing the west, Strawn 13 degrees, carry on King Island 14. St Helens tomorrow partly cloudy and 15, same for Swansea, Orford 14 degrees. On Thursday, widespread morning frost and patchy fog, then fine, probably the best day for the week. Mainly fine to start the day on Friday, late showers over the west and a light one over the east later. And on Saturday, showers across the state, easing about the west and south in the evening. A late shower forecast for Perth tomorrow, sunny and 20 in Adelaide, partly cloudy for Melbourne, rain in Canberra, 14 in the top, Sydney wet as well, Brisbane partly cloudy and 24. And currently the temperature's dropped in Hobart to 9 degrees, clear in Launceston 13, Devonport currently 12 degrees. Spring might be here, Kim, but so is hay fever. I've been suffering, taking my antihistamines, and when I found these eye drops, they were a sight for sore eyes.
Oh, go home. I actually felt sorry for you just for the second or so anyway. Thanks, Merv. That's all your news for this Tuesday, the 8th of September. Thanks for your company this evening. Good night.